So this deck is bullshit. So the title of this video is probably going to be something like Tier 0 or Best Deck in the Game or something clickbaity like that. And normally with those titles, that's all it is, just a bit of clickbait. But in the case of this deck list or this video, that title, it's probably just speaking straight facts. This deck, like I said, it's complete bullshit. I've prepared a little list for you. Untargetable monsters, indestructible monsters, damage immunity, damage reflection, direct attacks, multiple times, inbuilt macro removal, inbuilt extension through multiple means, a search spell that works as a rotor, foolish burial, and as extension, a skill that sends a monster instantly to the graveyard, and if your opponent has a Book of Moon or a Floodgate Trapper or something to flip your stuff face down, you can just yeet those monsters away and replace them with other monsters from your deck. Inbuilt card draw, inbuilt follow-up, hard ones per turn is just a suggestion for your Xyz monsters, they can just use their effects as many times as you like. Plenty of tech slots, searchable DD Crow, just about every single monster generates value. Oh, and did I mention that going first, you can set up a Towers monster that can bounce up to 5 or 6 special summons from your opponent? It's a load of complete bullshit. So whether or not this does turn out to be the best deck in the game, honestly I couldn't tell you, but what I can tell you for sure is, this deck is going to be one of, if not the most frustrating deck to play against. It just screams uninteractive. It wants to ignore damage, it wants to ignore targeting, it wants to ignore destruction, it wants to ignore your opponent's monsters and just hit you straight in the face. Basically, it just screams uninteractive and unfun. Let me just show you. So here's today's deck list. Now just a reminder before I get into the deck list, if you guys are enjoying today's video and think you want to see some more content and more deck lists from me in the future, please remember to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel down below. Alright, let's jump into this deck list. So to start us off, let's check out the skill, Bird Humming. This skill basically has 2 effects. The first one is you can reveal a Lyrilusc in hand to send a Lyrilusc from deck straight to the graveyard. Very important considering the amount of revive effects you have inside of this deck that can bring that monster back, as you'll see during the gameplay portion. The second part of the skill is if your opponent controls a monster, you can send one monster from your field to the graveyard to play a Lyrilusc straight from your deck to the field. Also very good is if your opponent has like a Book of Moon or a Floodgate Trapper or some way to flip your stuff face down, you can just get rid of those monsters and replace them with other ones from your deck. Also important as it allows you to swap out various monsters from your field for other ones inside of your deck that have different effects on them, because a lot of your Lyrilusc monsters have different effects when used as Xyz material that grant the Xyz monster the effect. So you understand when they go through them, but basically sometimes you'll just want various monsters on the field because you want to give that effect to the Xyz monster you're trying to summon, if that makes any sense. You'll understand in a sec anyway. So let's go through the Lyrilusc monsters themselves, starting off with your Sapphire Swallow. If you control a Winged Beast monster, you can special summon this card and another level 1 straight from your hand to the field. Then if you do an Xyz summon using this card, the Xyz monster can attach a Lyrilusc monster from the graveyard straight to itself as material. Then we have your Beryl Canary. This thing can special summon itself to the field along with a card from your graveyard as well, and if you do an Xyz summon using it, it gains 200 attack, also control of that card cannot switch. Then we have your Cobalt Sparrow. If this thing is special summoned, you can add a Winged Beast monster straight from your deck to your hand, and also if you do an Xyz summon using this card, the card cannot be targeted by card effects. Probably one of the most, if not the most powerful part of your deck. It's a searcher and it makes all your Xyz monsters just non-targetable. A very strong card, you'll basically use a shit ton. Then we have your Turquoise Warbler, or however you pronounce this card. This thing, if you control no monsters, can special summon itself to the field, and upon doing so, can summon back a monster from the graveyard, or a card from your hand as well. Alright, and the final Lyriluisc is your Celestine, Wagtail, or however you pronounce this thing. If this card is special summoned, add a Lyriluisc spell trap card from your deck to your hand. If this card's in your graveyard, you target a Lyriluisc Xyz monster you control, attach this card to it as material. Moving on to the spell cards, we have 2 brand new cards to go through. The first one is your absolutely bullshit Bird Call. This thing can take a Lyriluisc monster from your deck and either add it to the hand, or just send it straight to the graveyard. Then you can special summon a Lyriluisc monster with a different name from your hand. So basically, a Rotor, a Foolish Burial, and an Extender as well. Absolutely disgusting card. If you have multiple copies of this, play all 3 copies. It is filthy. Also obviously searchable via your Wagtail, which you'll do quite often. The other card you might be searching for though is your Lyriluisc Bird Sanctuary. You can target 2 Winged Beast Xyz monsters you control, attach one of those monsters to the other as material. If you have a monster with 3 or more materials, you can draw 1 card. The reason this card is so vitally important for this deck will make a lot more sense during the gameplay, and after I've explained to you the main boss monster of this deck, the Lyrilusc assembled Nightingale. This card gains 200 attack for each Xyz monster attached to it. This card can attack directly. Once card's Xyz material, it can attack a number of times each battle phase up to the number of Xyz materials attached to it. Hopefully this is now making a lot more sense while we have this thing, because this thing it becomes gigantic and can hit 1 billion times if you've got a bunch of materials below it, which this card allows you to do. Alright, additionally, once per turn during either player's turn, you can attach an Xyz material from this card. Until the end of this turn, Lyriluisc monster you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Also, you take no battle damage. So you become immune to damage, makes so your monsters can't be destroyed, and of course, if you've got something like this below it, it's untargetable as well. And it has a lot of attack, can hit directly 1 billion times. A disgusting boss monster. There's a reason we've only got 1 copy in the game, as multiple copies would be... Yeah, I don't even want to think about how strong this deck would be if we had multiple copies of this. It is really gross. Moving on, we have your Lyrilusc Recital Starling. This thing, if it's Xyz summoned, can target one face-up monster in the field against 300 attack and defense for each material attached to this card. The funny thing about this is, it can target your opponent's monsters, which can also be quite beneficial, as you'll find out later on when reading this. Once per turn, you can attach one material from this card, add a level 1 Winged Beast monster from your deck to your hand. That can include your DD Crows, by the way, as of course your Lyriluisc monsters as well, but you can also search for this, which is filthy. All battle damage you take from battles involving this Xyz summon card is also inflicted to your opponent. So like I said, you can give your opponent's monster a bunch of attack, this thing can then swing into it with 0 attack and inflict a bunch of battle damage to your opponent, especially considering this thing makes it so that you don't take any damage, you take no damage, your opponent takes all of it. Yeah, that is going to hurt. Along with the fact this thing can attack directly, it leads to some very easy lethals. Then we have, finally, your Promenade Thrush, or however you pronounce this thing. Gains 500 attack for each material attached to it. Once per turn, you can attach one material from this card, and target one spawn trap card your opponent controls, shuffle it into the deck. So this deck also has back row removal as well. At the start of the damage step, if another monster you control battles, you can attach any number of materials in this card. That monster you control gains 300 attack for each material detached, so a little bit of an attack booster for generally your direct attacker. And I missed one card, your Lyrilusc Assembled Robert, or Ensemblue Robert, how do you pronounce this thing? This card is also just as gross as the rest. Gains 500 attack for each material attached to it. If your opponent special summons a monster, you can attach one material from this card, then target one of those special summon monsters, return it to hand. If this card in your possession is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, you can target one other Lyrilusc monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So one important thing I do want to mention with this card is, one, it's not a once per turn, so this thing by itself is just stops your opponent from special summoning basically anything. But the other thing I wanted to mention is, when your opponent special summons 2 cards at the exact same time, it will only be able to bounce one of them. So keep that in mind, as it does come up sometimes, so yeah, keep that in mind. Alright guys, that's going to do it for the deck list portion of the video. The rest of the video will be gameplay showcasing this deck list in action. Without further ado, let's jump into some gameplay. Alright, today I've got 7 replays to share with you guys. Now unfortunately these replays were only gathered in Platinum, so take them with a little bit of a grain of salt, as Platinum is obviously not the strongest rank in the game, to say the least. But it should give you at least a good understanding of what this deck can do, and just how stupid it can be. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this deck turned out to be a tier 1, tier 0-ish deck, as it just seems way too overboard for Duel Links right now. I could be wrong on that, and I'm hoping that I am wrong on it, because I don't want this to be the most popular deck in the game. It would be incredibly frustrating to play against, but to me, it's heading in that direction, honestly. I even watched a Meta Weekly tournament earlier today, and had the top cut for that was like 50% or more Lyriluisc players, so yeah, I don't have high hopes for this not ending up being just the solid best deck in the game. But hopefully I'm wrong on that. Maybe there's some tech cards that will come out that are so good against this and can keep it at bay. Nibiru is generally a pretty good card against it, although I did actually kill someone through a Nibiru earlier today. I actually beat people through Nibiru, Summon Breaker, I've killed someone through multiple Veilers. Yeah. The more I talk about this deck, the more bullshit it just sounds, so you'll see anyway when you watch these replays. Alright, so opponent's doing a lot of Tachyon-y stuff. Got his counter trap on the field, which is a little bit scary. and ends on a Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon. Alright, so Hummingbird putting a card straight to the graveyard. Then going to special summon this card to the field to revive back, seeing if he would use the counter trap. Still hasn't used it, which is great, because now I can just go straight into a copy of the Promenade Thrush, force out that counter trap. And now, whatever that back row is, we don't really care about it, because we've got another Lance in hand anyway. Alright, searching for our Sapphire, and then because this card can just special summon as well, we're putting the Cobalt on the field. Cobalt searches. Special summon these two using the Sparrow's effect, or Swallow's effect. These two become the Nightingale. Haven't actually seen this animation yet. Normally I skip the animations most of the time. Not too bad. I think I prefer the Wind Witch one though. Alright, this card is now immune to targeting effects thanks to the Cobalt Swallow, or Sparrow. I get DD Crowed, which is actually a kind of annoying card for this deck sometimes. Especially if you're only playing one copy of this. Use the Canary to revive from grave. These two become your Recital Starling. So I'm going to boost the attack of this monster. Sanctuary on the field unfortunately has an MST, but at this point it doesn't matter. Hit him for 3,800 damage, then hit him in the face with the Nightingale. And of course, I take no damage in response because I've used the effect of Assembled earlier. Alright. Yeah, this deck, it seems to be really, really good going first, and going second, it's also, like, it can play through so much, which makes it very strong. The main weakness going first, at least that I see, is, if you're not summoning the Assembled Nightingale going first, which a lot of the time you don't really want to, because you've only got one copy, if you're not summoning that, you've only really got one lot of disruption on the field, like one monster, so if your opponent has something like a Droplet, or they have a Kaiju or something to get rid of it, they can quite easily sort of break that field, maybe. But then you've got a bunch of tech slots in this deck anyway, things like Lances or Droplets yourself and just other tech slots, so I don't know. Even then it feels like just a draw the out sort of a deck, which is never a situation you really want to be in. Alright. Summoning to the field, Sparrow's gonna summon, blah blah blah, and passing the turn. So he's got the Special Summon negate and the Fusion Summon set up. Start by dumping to the grave, summoning our Warbler, summoning the Sparrow, searching for the Sapphire, making your Recital. Recital is now untargetable by the way, but our opponent is going to negate that. Completely fine, because we can just search, Special Summon if we like. Wagtail grabbing the Bird Sanctuary. Canary going to be summoning. This triggers his, well, causes him to trigger his rapid trigger. Alright, these three are just going to become an untargetable, so already, even if he could target it, it can also make itself immune to destruction, so that Furious Dragon is completely worthless. Yeah, that Furious Dragon is completely worthless. I mean, the Swallow summon, Special Summon, summon a third time. I think that was just my normal summon, because I haven't even normal summoned yet. Making my Recital Starling. Alright, attaching some more stuff to it as material. Then I can use the effect of Bird Sanctuary to put all these materials below this if I wanted to, as well as drawing a card. He's gonna pop it, we're gonna negate. It doesn't matter at this point, this card alone kills him. Yeah. Alright, on to our next replay. Against J. Celino, or whatever the hell this is. Alright, this guy was playing, I believe, as you can probably guess from the character, some Blue Eyes. I don't think he set up very much though. This is more of a this is more of a platinum level gameplay if I remember correctly. Alright, Bingo Machine Go, gonna grab himself a Blue Eyes monster. Piercing the Targners. The highest quality animation we have in this game. Alright, draws himself a card. Battle Chronicle, going to grab himself a Successor Soul. Alright. From here, we're going to send a card to the graveyard. Activate our bird. Cool, searching for a Warbler. Not going to use the effect of special though, as I want to keep the field empty for the Warbler. Well, this card's got such a weird name, the Turquoise. Searching for a monster, making the Thrush to remove this back row. Also, this card is now untargetable, so his negate can't even be used on it. Swallow gonna special summon. Special summoning from hand. Wagtail getting a search, grabbing the Sanctuary. These two become the Starling. Starling can then boost the attack as well as search for a monster if I choose. Making myself a Nightingale. And this Nightingale is about to become quite big. Alright. Use the effect of the search first, apparently. Wagtail equipping itself below this. Sanctuary equipping the monsters to this. May hit a... Oh my god, he's just dead. This thing's already got 4,000 attack, and we have a thing on field that can attack 4 times. Yeah. Alright, final 4 replays. And hopefully at least one of these is going first. I'm showing a lot of going second ones here, but this deck is also really good going first. I think maybe I just forgot to record a couple. I should really keep that in mind when I'm trying to get these replays to keep a balance going first and going second, because it seems like I've grabbed a lot of going seconds here. I mean, all these replays are from the same, like, 10-ish games. It would have been a 10-ish win streak if I didn't lose to time in one of them. My goddamn boomer, my boomer APM. Alright, so up against a Summon Breaker. I played this game very badly because I got very low on time, but I just thought it was a cool replay because I was playing through Summon Breaker, which sounds silly for a deck that should lose to this, theoretically. But I guess my opponent was also playing a fairly not so good deck with a Summon Breaker, so we had that going for us. Alright, pass the turn. So we're going to send to the grave, special summon. Special summon back from the grave. And then I probably should have set this Lance, maybe. Because my opponent could... I guess that would cause my opponent to target it, I guess. But I'm just going to summon this assembled Nightingale, which, by the way, is completely untargetable, and it's basically just a Towers monster. So now he has to somehow deal with an untargetable, indestructible monster. And of course, I also can't take any damage. So even if he has piercing damage, I can just say, I don't want to take damage. So we'll see what he can do. Alright, he's going to Fusion Summon out the Dark Magicians, and then find out he actually can't do anything. Alright, so once again, we're still under Breaker, which is really annoying, so I'm just going to take this duel very slowly. Making a Thrust. Use the effect to then try to remove this card on the field. It has a Cavalry to negate it, which is a little annoying. But then I use my Sanctuary to... Well, actually, I forgot that he'd just drawn a card from this, so then I lose my Sanctuary because I'm stupid. I was just flat out misplay because I forgot he drew a card. Just going to attach a card to this. I can basically just do this every single turn. Just attach this thing to this Lyriluisc monster. He can technically negate it, but then he has no negate for the rest of the turn. If he has a card in hand, that is. Summoning 2 and Summon Breaker. Alright, he's going to use the Illusion Magician. I'm going to attach once again, protecting everything on the field, including these just non-Xyz monsters just chilling here. He has to pass, can't do anything. Making the Starling. And I'm pretty sure I had lethal here, but I also had like 10 seconds or something on the clock and I was panicking like shit, so I was just like, I'm just going to pass. Pass, activate this, and he still can't do anything, so it's not like he's going to kill me this turn or anything. I'm pretty sure I could have just swung this into him. That was lethal, right? Or something. Actually, maybe it wasn't quite lethal. Alright, he's going to negate it. I've got a Droplet now. Wagtail attach. He's already negated. Fine, then get rid of the Breaker, which is being really annoying. Canary summon 2. Search for a card. I'm pretty sure I actually would have killed him even under Breaker here still. Alright, and then we hit him in the face. Hit his... Wait, I didn't hit his monster? Okay. I definitely had lethal that time. I could just swung in there. I had such low time with the clock, okay? Don't blame me. Either way, eventually I decided to lethal him. Alright, Starling gonna boost the attack as well. Alright, there we go. Then I work out. Oh, I could just do that. Alright, so a little bit of misplaying there. But even with my Ooga Booga brain, hopefully you can see just how oppressive this deck is, considering I was just flat out misplaying a bunch there, and it didn't matter, because my stuff is just the towers. If your deck doesn't have innate outs to it, you're just screwed. Just relying on top decks to hope to find something. And I swear, if you put this in the hands of someone that's really goddamn good at the game, they're just not gonna lose. This is probably gonna be one of those decks that's gonna take over the KC Cup, I imagine. Or at the very least, cause everybody in the KC Cup to be playing very certain techs that are all aimed towards this archetype. Because there are a bunch of techs that do stuff against this. Things like, I think Lost Wind is good. There's, DD Crow is pretty good against it. Droplet's good against it. Kaiju's work. I think Kurikara's pretty good. There's a lot of cards that work pretty well against this. But, yeah, Nibiru. But the fact you have to tech all your stuff towards it is going to make the meta seriously annoying. Alright. Starling going to be boosting and searching. Going myself a crow because why not? I've already got all the extenders in hand anyway. Making the Robin. Alright, using the effect of the Sanctuary to put all the materials below this card. Keep in mind this card is now untargetable and can't be taken control of. Trading, going to be discarding, drawing some cards. I can crow this annoying Spiral Dragon later on. He activates the Swords of Revealing Light. Goes for a Cypher. We don't need to do really anything outside just bouncing this thing. Can save our... Actually, we don't have any droplets. He could have gone for a Dingirsu here and removed this, and I would have bounced the Dingirsu, but at least he would have... I guess he had no follow-up anyway. Alright, signing back from Grave. He's now going to try to crack down me. Don't care, I've got a Lance. These to make the Promenade Thrust, which can get rid of this swords. Alright, go to battle, try to swing in, I believe, but didn't quite have enough to kill him because he had Drowning Mirror Force of all things. But we can keep the Ensemblue on field, so pretty good. Alright. Summon these two, they make the thrust, get rid of the final back row. Turns out it's a Trap Hole Nightmare. I've got 3 cards in deck, by the way. Also, why is there a Greydale Alligator in your attack? Yeah, okay. Yeah, someone else could explain to me that one. That's definitely a new tech I've seen in Tachyon. Don't think it's gonna catch on, but maybe I'm wrong on that one. Alright. A 7-win streak on, I don't remember. Actually, I think it was Live Twin, actually. Probably a Live Twin player. And it was. Alright, so we've got a crow for this, which is kind of nice. I think I should have saved the crow for the following turn. Just crowed the, not crowed this, I should have crowed... I forced him to have an extender here, but maybe I should have just used the crow on the special summon the following turn. Or used it on the keys to kill here, maybe, or something. I think I probably used Crow badly there, but at least I forced him to use an extender. Alright, Bird Cool, searching for a Warbler. Send to Grave, special summon. And of course, we've got a Droplet ready for when he tries to use the keys to kill. We've already got an extender in hand anyway, but... These two are going to become the Starling. Starling's going to search. Starling's now untargetable. Grabbing a Wagtail. Special summon the 2 of them. Of course, searching for the same card. He's got an enemy control on me, which... Sure, he can't even target this thing, so whatever. Canary summon 2. These 3 become the Nightingale. Alright. Then we can use the effect of Sanctuary to equip all these cards to it. Draw a card as well, because why not? And that happens to be exact lethal. 6,000 life points? Don't matter. We'll just hit him in the face 5 times with 1200 damage for exact lethal. Yep, 6,000 life points. Still has a monster on field. I don't care. I'm going to hit you in the face. Alright, so is that this guy or was that this one? I think that was this replay. I have just clicked on the same replay twice here. Which I did. I'll have to edit it out. I did. Okay, I'm stupid. God damn it. This is more... made some more editing work for myself. Alright, final replay. If you're wondering why there's a little bit of a jump cut there, it's because I accidentally clicked on the same replay twice, because I'm a complete moron. Alright, so this replay was against the classic cringe platinum deck of just playing just a bunch of random, like, trap cards and stuff, I'm pretty sure. I think it turned out this guy was actually playing Metaphys or something, but... this guy is just 5,000 life points, and I think he just sets 3 and passes. Including a Floodgate. So I played through Dimensional Fissure, and I played through Summon Breaker in this video. So 2 Floodgates this deck can play through. Or at least I played through it, so... Alright. So these cards become the Thrust. Using the Sparrow, he's going to Trap Hole me. I'm going to Lance my own monster. Remove his Dimensional Fissure. I probably should have detached the Sparrow from this. I kind of forgot that this thing doesn't work on the monster sent or detached from Thrust. This card obviously didn't get banished, so I should have done that. Put these phased up, make another Thrust to get rid of the final back row. So that's Fissure and 2 back row played through. And then of course, yeah, we can just make ourselves a nice looking Nightingale here. If my opponent doesn't concede before then. I forget if this guy conceded or not. And for the final time in this video. Alright. Attach it below. And that's 1,400 a billion times to the face that he concedes. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Still be at least one more video this week on the new box with Time Thief, then maybe a Gaia video, not sure about that one, but Time Thief will definitely be tomorrow or the day after, so look forward to that. Thank you guys for watching, hope to see you in the next one, laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh.